Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Truth About Real Estate Investing show. My name is Erwin Cito, and this show is titled Starting Investing in the Later Years, both Stocks and Real Estate, and Selfishly Customizing Legal Insurance for the Investor. What an interesting time we live in. Remember when you could not get toilet paper? That was only like 2 months ago. So the new metaphor, there's many new metaphorical toilet papers that, for example, things that are hard to buy. I hear in some places it's hard to buy flour. Tee times for golf on the weekend are again difficult to get. Bicycles. The bicycle market is on fire. I understand that all bicycle businesses, especially the independent ones, are sold out of many many good bikes. A friend of mine had trouble buying a bike for her kid, and now trampolines. I'm sure there are tons of other stuff, but for my family situation, getting a trampoline is our problem. That in summer school and summer camps are canceled, so that's another topic. So we've been on a hunt for a trampoline since the beginning of COVID started. Specifically, we're looking for a springless trampoline on the recommendation of my friend Jillian, who used to own an indoor trampoline park. When COVID first hit, the company that we were looking at, they had no supply. I thought it was just a supply chain issue because likely these things are made in China. But then when we checked again earlier this month, they actually had sold out their entire spring supply. And if you wanted to buy a trampoline today, a brand new one, you can expect delivery in 90 to 120 days. So that didn't work for us because we were looking for a short-term solution. So what happened was we actually found out through a friend of a friend that they had a trampoline that they're looking to get rid of. It's 10 years old. It is a spring-free trampoline. And this is the weird thing about this economy that we're in. This is supposed to be a depression or a Great Depression, or as Benjamin Tull, the economist, calls it, something in between. Early on we thought this was going to be really bad. I'm completely surprised that the economic pain hasn't been worse. So there's still some people, actually there still seems to be a lot of people who are out there spending, because these spring-free trampolines, they start for over $1,000. So it's not exactly cheap, but thankfully Cherry found a client who owns one and is getting rid of it because her kids are in university now. This fresh, she still owns it. So we went to pick it up on our date night this past Tuesday. We romantically ate Chinese takeout on Cherry's client's back porch. And then once we're done eating in a fast manner, we had a job to do, which was to take apart this trampoline. It's an older one, so there's no proper instructions for it. I watched a little bit of YouTube and figured it out. It took close to 2 hours to do so. And understand, I have trouble assembling IKEA furniture, it was a late night. We left home at 5:30, and we didn't get home till 10 o'clock. So not a huge sacrifice, but that was our date night. I want to say thank you to everyone who took the time out to send some kind words after hearing about the haters posting negative reviews all about this podcast on iTunes. I want to say thank you, Dwight, Corey, Kate, Leticia, Andrew, Bill. The list goes on and on. Thank you, Kate, who defended my honor by posting her review on iTunes because she took exception to the negative posts, and she actually took the Stock Hacker Academy 2.0 along with 200 plus others. The feedback's been overwhelmingly positive, versus people who hate on this stuff. They didn't take the course. So, and then as a quick aside, the person who had the most constructive criticism actually, I actually spent a lot of time with his name. His name is Gino. I actually spent a lot of time with him to figure out how we could improve it for the 2.0 version. And he's had many kind words to say about the new course. And we only charged alumni $100 to retake the course. So we were basically giving it away for free. Dwight was kind enough to message me how he became intrigued with stocks in this past February, after listening to this podcast. He took action, he opened a TFSA account, and he's since more than doubled his investment into the six figures. That news made my day. And he didn't take the course, but I don't care. He's successful. He got the idea from listening to this podcast and became successful doing it. So I'm happy for him. So just like real estate, Not every investment's for everyone. I do believe anyone can do stock hacking or invest in real estate. For those of you who are real estate investors and have tried to convince friends and family to invest in real estate, you know that not everyone will do it. Less than 10% will actually do it. It just might not be their priority right now. On to this week's show. We have my friend Victoria Masucci. Hopefully I said that name right. She is a very happily married mother of two. Her kids are older too. So one of my takeaways from this episode was I actually know a lot of people who are really successful who have trouble and have successful businesses who have trouble integrating their children into their business. She, on the other hand, was really successful. So for those of you who have kids, who want to get your kids involved in real estate or your businesses, you probably want to pay special attention to that part. She's been self-employed for over 20 years and a former business owner. She's since sold her business to her kids. She's been voted Insurance Business Canada's top 10 women of distinction. She had a huge life change resulting from a diagnosis of a life-threatening illness for her child, which was mainly the reason why she had to delay her investing career. She became a real estate investor at the age of 53 and a stock hacker at 56 to ensure financial freedom. Better late than never, is her own words. She's working toward bigger goals, including letting others know about the journey to ultimate financial freedom, maybe a book, blog, speaking engagements, or all three, and the eventual setting up of a charity. So again, what I also found interesting about, and Victoria shares about, Victoria's in the insurance industry, and she created an insurance product selfishly for herself, but she also makes it available to investors and entrepreneurs like ourselves. So it's fascinating stuff. I'm probably going to get it for myself because this stuff's super cheap. She'll explain it better than I will. And again, she's included her children in her business much more successfully than most people have. So without further ado, I give you Victoria. So let's just hop right into it.
Yeah, for sure. Let's go.
Is your primary business? So you've been a business owner for over 20 years.
Well, so we've been self-employed. I've been self-employed for about 20 years. And I guess in 2014, we actually bought in partnership into a brokerage, a Toronto brokerage. And actually in 2018, we sold it to our kids. Yeah. A couple of reasons for that. Number one was it was kind of our way, along with our investments. Our real estate investments are for us right now, you know. So it was kind of our way. My kids are older; they're like 30 and 28, and they've been in the business for about 10 years apiece now. So it was our way of passing it on to them now and letting them run with it, making sure that we were in the picture to help them take it to the next level and keep our expertise on as consultants, and secure their future that way, right? If they were smart with this business and doing it right, this is a business they can continue to grow. There was value in the business already. It's an established business. It's, the clientele is 30 years old at this point. So they're running with it and they're doing really well. Like I said, between us and them, we're really growing it. And it's something for them either to continue to grow or sell one day. And it's that part of our legacy passed on to them.
That's cool. What kind of business is it?
It's an insurance brokerage.
What kind of insurance?
Yeah, all kinds. So we have different teams that will do commercial business, rentals, that kind of stuff. In fact, we have a program for landlords that I present at the Rockstar, at one of the Rockstar VIP meetings. And it's a program where there are actually lawyers. There's a helpline that you can call in for a lawyer, not only for rentals, but for anything. It's literally 99 cents a month. It's crazy. But anyway, but you can also buy lawyer representation, like $100,000 of lawyer representation for vacant possession of your rental for certain parameters, like if your tenants don't pay or cause damage to to your property, or if they're making noise and disturbing the neighbors, that kind of stuff. There's a list of what they'll cover. So that's one of our programs that we put together, and actually came up with that because I'm a real estate owner, right? So
is there a website?
Sorry?
Is there a
It,
website?
it's right now we're working on the website. Right now
Okay.
it's just through our office, like direct through me, and it's under construction.
Okay.
It's direct through me and my team. So
Okay.
I mean, if anybody is interested, we can give them the contact info for that. It's funny
You want to
because
shout out your business?
sure, it's Oracle RMS, and they can reach me at my personal email address because we're over 100 people strong. So you want to make sure you get to me because I'm the one that runs that program.
Okay. We have a policy. I always warn everyone to give their
Yeah,
email from giving out their email
yeah,
addresses
yeah,
because I have guests from the first year who complain about it.
yeah.
So it's your
I don't,
call. You've been
yeah,
warned.
I don't mind. I don't mind the business address,
Okay.
like because that's what it's for. But not my regular address because I know how that is. I've done that in past for other things, and it doesn't work well. You're right.
So go ahead, give it out if you've been warned. So go ahead and give it out
Okay.
if you like.
So if they're interested in the landlord program,
Hmm.
it's my address is Victoria at Oracle ORACLE.com. And we'll answer any questions about the landlord program.
And you designed it?
Yeah, we put it together with an insurance company that provides legal assist services. And that was basically a selfish reason why I did that. I did it for me.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
what is it? What's the saying? Out of necessity comes
that's
invention or
right.
something,
Exactly. You're right. Exactly.
right? My business was no different. There
Yeah,
was no one that was helping people invest in real estate in Hamilton that
for
focused on
sure.
it,
For sure.
and that's how it came about. That's how Mr.
There you
Hamilton
go.
came about.
It's amazing how things grow.
Uh, what did your kids need much convincing to get into the business? And I'll
Not,
tell you, I'll show where I'm coming from. For
yeah,
example, there's another Iwan member
yeah.
who has 3 kids, and none of them are interested in the business. So
Well,
he's selling it off to someone else.
yeah. My husband and I had always, from the time they were little, our kids grew up with us in this business, so they've heard us talk about it. They've seen us working in it. And
Hmm.
I remember when they were about 18 or 19, each one of them asking them if either one of them were interested. They were both, attending university, studying completely different things.
Hmm.
And both of us said, no, thank you.
Hmm.
And actually, our daughter said, I would rather jump off a bridge first.
Yeah, that
So,
was the answer I was
yeah,
expecting. Okay.
exactly. So
Yeah.
we had made succession plans, and when it came time, we were just going to sell the business to a third party, and that's not what happened. Our son, shortly after graduating, decided he wanted to join, and he joined at the bottom ranks. Like, I mean, he, no special treatment,
Uh-huh.
and
The mailroom, the
in
janitor.
fact, he didn't even work with us. We sent him somewhere else. He worked for someone else
Right, right,
to
right.
learn the ropes. And he was with another brokerage for about 3 years before he joined us. And then our
You poached
daughter,
him then? You poached
yeah,
him
we
back?
did. We did. After he was trained, and then our daughter did the same thing. Like right after university, and I told her no. Like I literally said no. You've studied. She had studied something completely different. It was kind of a passion for her. She was studying for veterinary research and nutritional research. So it was completely out of left field. Like this is a completely different job. So of course I said no, and she came to me. She said something really profound that I couldn't deny her. She said, "Why would I go looking for a job that had the possibility of becoming a career, when I could start in the family business from day one and know it's a career?" So it made sense to me. So we had to say yes.
Interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
They went to university for something completely unrelated.
Completely unrelated. My son was going into law, and my daughter was going into veterinary nutrition research. And I don't know how they ended up here, but you know what? They're fantastic. The clients love them,
Hmm.
and yeah, I don't know how we got so lucky, truthfully, because
Hmm.
we definitely weren't going to force them. We weren't going
Hmm.
to force them into coming into it. So
That's interesting. How do
yeah.
they feel about your real estate investing?
They're really they at first I thought I was crazy because of
Yeah.
course I did it older,
Hmm.
and I grew up in, both my husband and I, we both grew up in the old adage about, go to school, find a good job, be good at what you do, make more money. Now we've been self-employed for 20 years, 25 years, so we kind of broke that mold a bit. But we still, just paid down our mortgage and paid our bills and that kind of stuff. We never ventured out into other things. And so at first they thought, that mom was crazy at an older age starting all this stuff, but they love it now. Like they're really into it. Our daughter actually is looking to buy. She's getting married this year, so she's looking to buy a house.
Oh, congratulations.
But they bought a condo
Mm-hmm.
4 years ago, right downtown.
Mm-hmm.
And whereas another 3 years ago they would have sold that condo to buy the house, now they're going to refinance it and have a built-in down payment for their new house. So
Fantastic.
yeah, so it's already paying off. They've definitely changed their way of thinking because of what we're doing, for sure.
Okay.
For sure.
And how long ago did you get started real estate investing?
Oh, very old, very late. um, 3 years ago only. So I'm 56 now, and that was at 53. It's, it was kind of a late revelation, but I guess better late than never.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Was it well, you have other investments, do you not? Usually insurance professionals usually invest in financial markets. Do you
I,
not?
I
Or do you have
so
other
so I
insurance
did
product investments?
I did dabble in the stock market, and I think maybe like you had said, poorly. Had some successes, but had some successes, but also had some failures. So
Yeah.
got out of that, and I guess our our thing was always, we got into boating, so we had like a huge boat, like a 40-footer, and I don't regret that
Good investment.
because
Yeah.
well, yeah, we had the boat came with a sign in it. We never took it down, and it said, if you have to ask how much it costs, you can't afford it. So we just left it. A boat is it's a true money pit. But on the pro side of that, our kids had the best childhood. Like, they had the greatest time. We would be on the water 2 weeks at a time, going up north, like close to Sudbury on that boat. We made the best friends, lifelong friends, which,
Mm-hmm.
even though we're out of the boating community now, we're
Mm-hmm.
still very close with.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of great things come out of it. So the money that we spent is worth it,
Right.
in my opinion.
You haven't
But
raised any money with your boat yet?
no, it wasn't that kind of boat.
Oh,
We saw
because
a few
other
of
people
those, but no, we didn't have that.
like there's IWIN members and clients of ours who raise money with their boats.
Oh, raise money. Oh, I thought you said race, and I went, no, we
No,
didn't
not
race
racing money.
it. No, you know what? We've been out of boating for about, I want to say, but no, actually, we for us it was kind of our vacation and country cottage all rolled up into one,
Right,
and
right,
we
right,
had a great time. We had a
right.
great time. Lots of entertaining, lots of fun, lots of partying,
Mm-hmm,
and
mm-hmm.
it was great. Yeah, yeah,
Well, it's like you said, the boat. If you own a boat, that's another level, right?
yeah.
Of affordability and income level,
Absolutely.
right?
We were doing well, like, and we are doing well. Like I said, for us, the kind of revelation turned, and we got out of boating because it was kind of, been there, done that. We wanted to try different things.
Mm-hmm.
The kids were older and weren't enjoying it as much as we did when we were a family, type of thing. And my husband doesn't even swim, so I don't know why he ever wanted to get into boating.
Hmm.
So I think after 12 years of boating, he said, maybe the swimming thing isn't working for me. So
Right, right.
anyway, there were a few different decisions in that, but we started getting a little more serious about future and investing. We didn't want to keep working forever, and that's when we kind of turned things around. We had a bit of a life altering moment or
Mm-hmm.
time. One of our kids was diagnosed with a quite serious life-threatening illness 10 years ago, and we had to make changes. I mean, at first, first few years, you're kind of a deer in the headlights. You're kind of reacting as opposed to being proactive, going along with what you have to do, or what people think doctors tell you have to do, or things that have to be done. So, like I said, the first few years we kind of floated along, just doing what we felt what we had to do. And in our case, we had to work really hard to find other treatments. We did everything that we were told to do here. They had they helped temporarily, but we had to find something that was going to help more permanently. And I mean, on the good side of things, I mean, it's been 10 years. So although we're still battling, it's been 10 years. So it's great. Definitely blessed. And our kid is doing extremely, extremely well. although things are ongoing. We did find a treatment that is helping a lot. In fact, it's been a true miracle for us. But we were spending a lot of money between that treatment and up treatments that local treatments that we could find here that worked in conjunction with the treatments, because it's overseas, it's not here.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it's overseas. So we at one point for 3 years were going overseas 4 times a year, and I kept joking because everybody said, "Well, isn't it expensive?" And I said, "Yeah." I would joke that every time we went overseas, it was like we were buying a new car. And then we had the medical expenses here as well. So at that point, I figured out that we were going to have to do something more drastic in the way of securing our financial future and making sure that we always had funds available for whatever would be needed in this area and for us as well, right? So that's when I started just researching and looking online, and found out about real estate and thinking, what an idiot! Why haven't I thought about this before? This totally makes sense. Got into real estate, so like I said, 3 years ago. It's actually 3 years just now, and that worked out really well. Although we were newbies, we had no idea. We were so green, it would have made you laugh. But what we were smart enough to do was to surround ourselves with a really good and experienced team. So, good accountant, good real estate agent, good mentorship. And so, even though we didn't know anything about anything, we knew enough that our real estate holdings at that time would have to be a totally turnkey, which is more expensive to buy, but it fit what we had to do. So totally turnkey, cash flowing from the beginning, and truthfully, knocking on wood as we speak, we really haven't had any issues in 3 years. Nothing major with our real estate holdings. So we've been really lucky that way.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I found you through that particular organization that we were dealing with, and then you introduced iWin, and joined you after the first meeting last year. I think it's a year now, right? Isn't it a year this month or something?
Yeah, it
Yeah,
is. Yeah.
yeah. So came to that first meeting last January, signed up right away because I knew you were going to do great things.
Thank you.
And and yeah, it's been, I would say we're still part of our other organization, but part of this because it just serves different purposes.
Mm-hmm.
With iWin, I just find that we're introduced to so many different people from so many different walks of life with so many different ideas about different streams of income, and that's what we've needed to do.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, I'm like so into that like stock hacking, options trading thing. I love it. I'm like Adriano when it's Saturday or Sunday. I'm a bit
Bored.
depressed. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the
It's like,
stat holiday, like,
dude,
oh,
that was a
darn
shock.
you, stat holidays.
I wasn't expecting that. It was like, what? It's closed today. I can't. And then someone said the Canadian market's open. I went, oh, okay. It's not the same. So yeah, so we've learned a lot, and just like now, like I'm in full blown learning mode.
Mm-hmm.
So between second suites and infill developments and
Mm-hmm.
stock option trading and continuing with real estate and yeah, things are good. Things are really good. Yeah, we actually cut down our work week this year. So we told the kids, get ready. We're starting to kind of back off a bit. So
What's your work week now? How
so
many
right now
hours?
we're 4 days a week. We're
4 days a
going,
week.
yeah, six months down the road. We're planning to go 3, and then we'll see what next year brings. Well, listen, it's the kind of business that you don't have to really retire from. I mean, we'll always be there consulting and helping out and that kind of
Mm-hmm.
stuff. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
truthfully, from an age standpoint, we got a way through retirement, but definitely more holidays, more time away.
Mm-hmm.
We, with our recent investments these last 3 years, and we had a couple of other strategies that we did that had nothing to do with our investments, and we can talk about that if you like.
Sure.
We even ended up buying a place, an apartment. I have a lot of family in southern Italy,
Oh,
but half
cool.
half my family is there and half my family's here. I also have family in France, Germany, and Australia, so we're kind of all over the place. But we ended up 3 years ago. We ended up buying 2 years ago. We ended up buying a place there, and we spend at least a month every year, but we'd like to go twice a year starting this year. and it's great because it's a tiny little mountain town of 1,300 people. Yeah, it's great. Right at the top of the mountains. I think they were afraid of pirates at that time. So right at the top of the mountains, because they're right at the coast. So when you go down the mountain, you're right at the beach, and it's beautiful. Like it's stunning and very peaceful and relaxing. And my family's great, so I really get to enjoy that time there. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay. Where'd it go? Does that thing cash flow?
No. People will I'll let people use it who go, but I don't charge them. That's the fun property. I count it as an investment, but it doesn't cash flow. So
got it. I had to ask because this is a real estate show.
Somebody actually told me this, because that place gets really busy, especially in the summer and Christmas, because it's a small town, but there are all kinds of people that have immigrated from there.
Mm-hmm.
And they always ask, like, you can charge it, and then everything becomes deductible and everything else. And it's I don't know. We're blessed to have it. So if somebody needs it and it's somebody close to me, family or friends, I just say, go ahead, just
amazing.
Just take it. If we're not there, if we're not there, if we're there, then you have to share with us.
Let's start with you mentioned turnkey investments. Can you elaborate what your turnkey investment looks like?
So we started off, and we're still kind of heavy in that area in London. And the turnkey ones were and still are student rentals.
Mm-hmm.
So they're in London, close to the university, and they're wartime, like 1950s wartime 1.5 stories. They started out that way, and they someone else, not us, renovated them, and they've turned into added additions, and they've turned into a 5-bedroom unit with their own en suites. Like each room has their own ensuite. So 5-bedroom, 5.5 bath. So not only do they have their own bath, they have an extra bath. So if they've got a buddy over, they don't have to use anybody's bathroom. So it's a 5-bedroom, 5.5 bath, and they're great, like really nice, really, really nice. Yeah.
What's the square footage of something like this?
I want to say they're like, if you don't count the basement, about 2 to 2,200. A couple of them have one basement apartment. Like there's one that doesn't have any, I believe. I'm not sure. And I'm not even 100% sure, because most of them we bought sight unseen, and I still haven't seen them other than the outside. So I know, kind of strange.
Were they already rented?
That's how much we trust our people.
Was it already rented? Is that why you buy a site? That's what.
So when we bought them, they bought them from the builders.
Yeah.
I'm very adventurous these days. Bought them from the builders.
Yeah, you do stock options. You are adventurous.
Yeah. And they bought, and that's why I think my kids think I'm crazy sometimes. And they bought, the builders had actually guaranteed a lease, so they actually had the first year lease. And then we have property management. We don't, we live 2 hours out of London, so we have property management that's taking care of leasing and tenanting after that. But definitely those ones that we purchased brand new did come first year leased. The only one was the first one. It isn't one of those. It's a 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath, really nice little place, which is nice because if you don't want to use it as student rental, you can also straight rent it, and it would cash flow be fine as well. That one already was leased and just continued to be rented out to students. So we've never really had an issue with renting out any of our properties there. We also have an RTO in London, which was an excellent buy. We just did that last year. No, sorry, not last year, year before, so 2018. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like it's going to work out for these tenants. We're trying to work with them as best as we can, but it doesn't look like they're going to be able to buy it, but we'll see. I mean, we're still getting rents and that kind of thing. So that was great. We did a joint venture with Manny, of course, in Barrie, and just finished refinancing that. And that one turned out amazing, really, really great. We own the commercial building where we have our business with our partners in the business. And that's appreciated really well because we bought it. We actually, I have to say, I said we've only done it 3 years ago, but this one we purchased before as part of our business. investment, and it's a great location. It's at Keel and Steeles, and since then they
Ooh.
brought in the subway. Yeah, they brought in the subway. That place has doubled in just a short time, and it's done really, really well. It's a larger building. We've converted all the warehouse now into office space because it's an 18,000 square foot building, and so what used to be, because it's combined commercial industrial, that area, but
Hmm.
more offices are moving into that area, so we've kind of been ahead of the curve on that. So we've done really well on that one. That one was a good one.
What year was that? Did you buy the commercial?
2014. Yeah, 2014 we bought
It
it,
hasn't more than
and
doubled.
maybe we're actually going to get a appraise this year because we're just in the middle of converting the last warehouse into office space.
Hmm.
So after we do that, we'll get a new evaluation done.
Hmm.
Probably it probably has more than doubled because when we bought it, it was a mess. It had been on the market
Oh.
for over a year, and it was a mess cosmetically more than anything. But we converted into office space, came out beautifully. Um, we did it in record time, like in 3 months. And
Wow.
yeah, so yeah, it's really great. We have some tenants in there, but slowly we've kind of been moving the tenants out just because we need more space.
Hmm.
And yeah, that one's done extremely well. Location is excellent. The building is terrific, and
Hmm.
and on top of everything else, we pay rent to ourselves, which is great. Yeah, which is great.
Did you go through BDC by chance for the financing for that one?
No, we didn't. In fact, let's see, we've changed the mortgage now to BMO. I believe it was TD that did it the first time.
No kidding. Okay.
We tried BDC, and at the time, if I recall correctly, the interest rate was a little high.
Okay. Okay.
And for some reason, TD came through for us at that point. I don't know if, I mean, we're talking almost 6 years, well, 5.5 years now. So I don't know that they would still be in that same position to do that.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, but yeah, they did really well for us now. And now we switched over to BMO just because in the brokerage business, BMO's kind of known as the bank for brokers. They kind of understand the valuations of our businesses and that type of thing. So
Okay.
the building just kind of goes hand in hand.
Uh, I know listeners like to hear numbers, so we just got our mortgage came back from BDC at it's either 4.55 or 4.65.
Yeah.
Variable and fixed are actually the same.
Yeah, yeah. So ours, we just got ours back, and on the building, and I think it's 0.5% over prime,
Hmm.
which is really good. On the refi that we just did, the one in Barrie, it was actually 3.4 on the refi. So the appraisal came in high, the valuation came in high, it came in great. But the interest rate on that was 3.4, which I was hoping for a little less, but we got what we wanted in the way of numbers. So
Is
that's
that
the way
like a
we're
5-year
going now.
fixed? What is the
5 year
3.4?
variable.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we were all over the map here.
Sorry,
No, it's okay.
It sounds kind of like me.
Can you share some numbers on your student rental, for example?
Yeah. So on the student rentals, I won't include the. I won't include. Well, I will include the small one. So the small one is the 4 bedroom, 2.5 bath, and we're getting 550 a room plus utilities on that one. On the 5.5, they range from. I think the only exception is one because one of them we're getting 650 on a couple of the basement apartments,
Mm,
but mainly we're getting between 695 and 725 a
that's
unit.
fantastic.
Yeah, utilities in, so they cash flow really, really well, really, really well. Yeah.
That's Mike DeZorma that got those for you.
Oh yeah, he's amazing.
Mike is
He's amazing.
it's because he's a quiet guy. I
I
think I consider him underrated, but not in the office. He's not underrated in the
No, no,
office.
no, no, no. I never underestimate what he can do. I never.
No, he
We've
is.
been kind of quiet on the real estate front right now, just because we're concentrating on the stock option thing. And but we'll vamp that. So we'll revamp that up soon.
Hmm. Hmm.
And once I make some money here, and I'm
Well,
going to listen to what Omar says and just like cycle, make money in the stock options and then cycle them over to real estate and keep doing that.
mhm.
Although I'd start maybe liking to do a little bit things a little bit different, maybe working more with larger units, like building units or
Mm.
infill, that kind of stuff. I'd
Hmm.
like to start delving into stuff like that.
Hmm.
But it's a lot of learning before I can do that. So I'm on that
Yeah,
quest too. Yeah.
because the people I know that do it, for example, guests of the show like Kosh,
Yeah.
Charles Waugh,
Yeah.
Ryan Carr, who do infills, uh, they are they have available time to work on these projects, and you're having more availability of time.
Yes.
So that I
Yeah.
think it's just for people to know, like this doesn't happen overnight.
It doesn't. And that's why I said, like, it's something that we're planning for, right? Like, it's
Hmm.
not something we're just jumping in. First of all, we have to get the training.
Hmm.
And, we've made the connections, through you, through Rockstar and stuff. We made the connections. We're getting the training now that, through the experts in the field. Thanks for
Hmm.
those introductions. And so that's part one. And then
Hmm.
part two is getting the funding together, which, we're hoping to do this next year. And after that, as we're getting more time, away, getting more time, then yeah, look at it really seriously at that point. I'm excited about that. I'm excited to go to the next level. So
It's crazy.
yeah.
Any words of advice for anyone who's starting later?
It's something actually I've been wanting to something else I'd like to do as I get more time, is because a lot of my friends, they look at me as I'm really strange, and I am a bit of a strange bird. I'm kind of fly by the seat of my pants, which is good that my husband's totally on the other end of the scale, because I pull him forward when I need to. He pulls me back when I need to be pulled back. But yeah, I guess it could be kind of daunting as you get a little older, because it's true, we get more comfortable as we get older in our set in our ways and that type of thing. But I've never really fallen in that. I've never kind of fallen that road. So advice: don't be afraid. Like we're just as smart, if not smarter, than when we were younger. We just have to kind of not be afraid of getting out of our comfort zone and getting outside of the box and trying new things. And
Hmm.
some things you may like and work, and some things you may don't and don't work. But it doesn't mean that you shouldn't try them. And it's like, it's easy to say I'm in my 50s, I'm in my 40s, I'm in my 60s, whatever. It's too late, or I should have started when. But if you don't start, you're going to be 70, 80, and 90 and still have never started. So you might as well just do it. Like Nike.
You tried Nike? I had to ask.
I do, actually. I made good money last month with them.
Same. Right before, then they had good earnings.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, that's right. So a couple of the other things that, one other thing that we did, and it was a big decision, another one of those like kind of life altering decisions, something that even a year before or 2 years before we did it, we would have just like said, no way, we're not doing that. We grew up in an era where home ownership is, that's what you strive for. Our parents are immigrants, and
Hmm.
home ownership is like the be all and end all. That's what you strive for. You buy your house,
Yes.
you pay your house. You understand, I'm sure,
Hmm.
coming from the same type of background. So, we had worked ourselves up to a really nice big house, which I absolutely loved, in a great neighborhood, great neighbors. We were there for 20 years. Our kids grew up there, because we had said that once we found a place and the kids were little, we weren't going to move until they were done school, because we didn't want to disrupt them, uproot them, or anything like that. And that worked out really well. And then the kids moved out. They one got married, one moved out, getting married, and we were the two of us in this big, like, 3,600 square foot house. And I still loved it, but my husband's saying, like, I'm tired of all this work. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of upkeep.
Hmm.
It was going to need some updating and that kind of stuff, because it was 20 years old. And we were a little bit on opposite sides of the fence, but he'd always been good about giving me the big house, the big backyard that I loved, and he hates the outdoors. Like, he hates cutting grass and everything else. So he suffered for me for 20 years, and so when I guess he said that he wanted someplace smaller and less responsibility, I had to think about it. And so yeah, so we sold the big house, and we were looking at buying a smaller house, and because we didn't really find what we liked, we just rented for a while. And almost 3.5 years later, we're still renting. And now that's a conscious decision, because what we did was we took that money that we had from renting, and we bought real estate.
Hmm.
And so that worked out really well. We've made some other investments as well into some private venture firms, which are a private venture firm, which I can't talk about, but it's worked. That's done really, really well as well. It's been a really good return, and that's going up. Yeah, so now we kind of conscious every year we talk about it before the lease comes up. Are we going to buy something? And my husband looks at me and goes, really? I don't know. I'm happy being a renter. And the good thing
Hmm.
about renting is our landlord is really great. I mean, we take good care of the property, take care of it like it's our own, but our landlord is really great. It hasn't increased the rent in 3 years. And our rent is free basically because the cash flow that we make from our rental property is probably at least double what we pay in rent. So, um, and those are appreciating. So, where we don't have appreciation in one place, we have it somewhere else.
Hmm.
Our rent is paid for basically by our investments and then some. We did buy a small place, so we split our time out of town. We bought a place in Collingwood actually
Hmm.
that we
Hmm.
own and is our principal residence, let's say. But we have a rental in the city as long as we need it for work. That strategy is probably, like I said, something that we would have definitely said no to not too long ago. And now it's kind of been a really smart move for us, but it's not for everybody. I call ourselves the nomads now. Like from the time that we started renting,
Hmm.
I said, be prepared to be a nomad because you can be kicked out at any time. You can be asked to leave at any time, but we're good with that. Our kids are good, and it's just the two of us. We're good with that. We're okay. If I had young kids, I probably wouldn't be okay with it.
That's fascinating stuff. Because, for example, Grant Cardone always says, "Don't own your own, rent your home."
Oh, there you go. Oh,
Right.
there you go,
It's
Grant. Thanks for me.
it's not easy. Because, for example, we talk about Rockstar, talk about Tom and Nick, and their advice to me
Yeah,
was,
they're great. Yeah.
buy the most home you can afford. Right. So that's
Mm.
not advice for anybody, for everyone.
It worked for us.
Yeah. Worked
Yeah,
for us.
yeah.
Worked for us.
It worked for us while we had the home. Yeah, worked
Mhm.
for us while we had the home, and it's also worked for us again with the. I can't say that we don't own a home, and we kind of do. It's not our. Well, I can't say that online, but it's in our names. It's our principal residence in theory.
Mhm.
But is it our home in the city? No,
Mhm.
but it's kind of our principal residence, our go-to. It's kind of the one place in our names that we use
Mhm.
for ourselves. It's not an investment or rental properties. So, like I
Okay.
said, when I say about home ownership, I guess it's not 100% true that we don't own a home because we do. Our principal residence is in Collingwood, but because and we do spend a lot of time there, but because we spend some time in the city still with work, we have a rental here as well. At some point, we're going to have to decide, if the Collingwood location becomes a recreational location, and or if we're going to move out there, give up all ties here and move out there. As it is, we're probably spending about 5 days a week there. So,
Mhm.
because we work from there as well, but our families, our parents are still here in town. So, we want to have a connection here. I
Mhm.
don't know that we'll ever buy another house in the city. The one over there is significantly smaller, significantly much less. We bought it in 2015. So, we bought it. We had originally bought it as a rental,
Mhm.
and then when we got it 3 years later, because it took so long to get,
Mhm.
because it was a pre-con, we ended up just using it for ourselves and
Mhm.
having it as our principal residence. So that worked out. So I kind of say like we don't own a place, but I guess we kind of do own a place, but nothing like we had, not in the city, something completely different.
Fascinating. Because my own plan for my home is, things change, but my plan for my home is I'll leave it to my kids,
Mm,
to when they want to raise their own families. Because
yeah, yeah.
I don't know what else they'll do.
Yeah. In hindsight, I wish I had that opportunity. At the time, we didn't. We were in a bit of dire straits because of our situation, because our family situation was
Hmm.
one of the reasons why we decided. A big reason. My husband did really want to move and have less responsibility. Didn't want the big house anymore, but it definitely helped us with the obligations that we had and felt that we were going to have moving forward.
Right. Right.
So the reasoning was kind of twofold. Um, in retrospect, if I could have, would I have? Maybe. We have one child that would have liked the house. The other one would not have. They don't. They're not into that type of home. But one child probably would have liked it.
Hmm.
But so it was another reason why we did the whole thing of with transferring over the business to them now,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to when we're older. Let them run with it, make sure that it's all going, it's all fine, that they know what they're doing, that we're young enough and have enough vigor to
Mm-hmm.
continue with them and help them get to the next level. So it was kind of our part of our legacy that we decided to hand over
Mm-hmm.
now, as opposed to the house. But I understand totally what you're saying about transferring over the home. Yeah,
Are
so
those medical treatments still ongoing?
they're still ongoing.
Oh boy.
Yeah, oh yeah. They're still ongoing, although doing extremely well. So we're down to twice a year now, as opposed to 4 times a year.
So only 2 cars a year?
2 cars a year, that's it. Yeah, and we still have treatments here.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? So many good things have come out of all of this. When they say that you take for granted things when things are great, you take things for granted that you don't when you go through a bit of a hardship, and it's true.
Mm-hmm.
We spent a lot more quality time together. We traveled a lot more together. We've made these financial decisions moving forward, which I don't know if I would have done that
Mm-hmm.
without feeling that we really had to do something drastic to secure our financial future. So a lot of great things have come out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And if anybody would like to talk to me about these treatments that we're doing, I'll figure out a way for them to. Again, I don't want to just give out my email or whatever, but I'll figure out a way for them to get in contact with me, because I would really love to share that.
Mm-hmm.
It's helped a number of people, including our child.
Mm-hmm.
I know it saved our child's life. So
Can you share the name of the illness?
Our child has a brain tumor,
Oh damn.
and yeah, and so, like I said, very serious. But we're in a very good place right now. That has not always been the case, uh, but and it's 10 years. So to be in such a great place at this time is unbelievable to me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It really has been a godsend, like a true miracle for us. So if anybody does want to talk to me about what we've been doing, I'm happy to share. In fact, at some point, when my idea is to start a charity to help people gain access to these types of treatments, at some point, I'm not ready for that yet, but I would like to. Maybe that'll come along with, my book or blog or YouTube channel about how I did it in my 50s, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that's not too late in your 50s. And it's new, it's ongoing, but I just can see the things from our financial standpoint. It's just going to get better from here. We've gained a lot of good connections and a lot of good information and training that's going to ensure that just going forward, we're not relying on our job, we're not even relying on our business. We can rely on ourselves to make good investments and secure our financial future a lot earlier than we even thought we could. So it's great.
I don't know if all parents are like this, but whenever my kids are sick, I'm like, oh God. I
Oh,
think of the worst case scenarios.
you know what, Erwin? I can't even begin to tell you. It's definitely a lot. It's definitely a life altering thing, and things just come crashing down to earth. And it's amazing, though. What's amazing about it is after you get the deer in the headlights out of the thing, out of the way, and you kind of come to grips with. It's amazing how strong you are. It's amazing how strong you are, how strong your family bond is, and how much you can handle, and
Mm-hmm.
what you can do when you're in a position that you have to do it, that there's no choice.
Mm-hmm.
And for us, like I said, our child is not only surviving but thriving in a huge way, and is completely fine. Thank God, is completely fine. We that wasn't always the case. It wasn't always the case, and it is a true miracle. So.
We're not talking about stem cell treatment or anything, right? Cool.
No. It's actually, if somebody wants to know about it, then we can tell. It's recognized, just not here.
Got it.
Yeah, it's nothing. It's no voodoo or anything like that. It's
Well, I don't think stem
yeah,
cells are
yeah.
voodoo.
No. But
I
I'm
don't
saying
even
it's
know. I'm
nothing.
not.
Yeah,
I'm no professional at
no.
all.
I'm saying it's very worldwide. It's used. It's just not something that's norm here at this point. So
Very cool.
yeah.
So I'm sure you appreciate like Dr. Cowan last night because
Oh
that's
my gosh, I
his
was
stuff
so
is not the norm at
impressed.
all.
No, I was so impressed. In fact, I think I have to go see him, because it's, we forget. I'm sure fathers are the same, but mothers especially, we take care of everyone else and we forget about ourselves. So this is kind of continue now that my shoulder's better, and I kind of continue my quest to get in better health and take care of
Mm-hmm.
myself, because
Mm-hmm.
I want to be doing this into my 90s.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Amazing.
yeah.
Any advice you give to someone who's just starting out investing then?
First thing is, I've heard the term like paralysis analysis. Don't be afraid. It's so easy to not do anything when you have good information and a good team just because you're afraid. It's true, things can go wrong, but if you take the right steps in safeguarding yourself, most times things go right. And if things go wrong, you learn. I mean, I don't know how many thousands of times they say Thomas Edison failed before his invention succeeded. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, yeah, you have to, the mistakes make you better. If you're going to make any mistakes, you can learn from them, and just don't be afraid.
Mm-hmm.
Small, big or small, like in a big or small way, even a small change makes a big difference. That's how we started. We started out small.
I'd say I've been saying this more often, is that I think a healthy dose of ignorance is necessary
I think
to
you're
become a
right.
real estate, become any sort of investor, any sort of entrepreneur.
I
Uh,
think you're right. I think you're right. I think if you know everything from the beginning, you might not do it. You
you might
might
not
not
do
do it.
it. It
Yeah.
would take you forever to get there too.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. And like I said, I'm kind of more the spontaneous type of person, so I jump faster than most.
Yeah.
It's bitten me sometimes, but it's kicked me forward more times than it's bitten me. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
I'm I'm good with that. I'm good
Mm-hmm.
with
And I'll admit, like, this podcast is guilty of giving people too much information.
that.
So that's because we give a lot of information out.
I know, I
And people are
know.
like, I know nothing about real estate. Like, that's okay.
Yeah,
The
it's true.
you
It's
have a
true.
good team, you pick a good property, you've insulated yourself from so many problems.
That's how we started. And truth, at least we were smart enough to do that
Mhm,
because we really didn't know anything about anything when it came to real estate. So we thought
mhm,
if we're going to do it, let's start it that way. And as we learn, then maybe we can become more adventurous and
mhm.
trying new projects and that kind
Yeah,
of stuff. So
yeah, yeah. Because
and
even when
it's
you're talking
worked well
about
for
infill
us.
development, like the strategy that was taught last night, for example, is
Mm-hmm.
you already have an income producing property.
Yeah, and we have two corner lots, so I'm hoping that maybe one of them, one or both
Mm,
of them, can be severed at some point. So,
one
so
day,
one
or
day,
at least maybe a tertiary suite.
yeah.
I forget the term that Andy used, because I don't even know if everyone knows what tertiary means.
It's a third, isn't it?
Yeah, the
Third suite.
third.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Oh my gosh, that's a cool term. I have to remember that one.
I
But
know, but it's in marketing. You shouldn't use terms that people don't know.
yeah, I guess so. I
So
guess. Yeah.
basement suite, and then, so I call these addition, because the tertiary suite was likely not
Yeah.
going to be a rear addition.
Right,
Yeah.
right. I'm actually
Oh,
excited to see how this whole laneway coach housing thing goes,
mhm, mhm,
because that'll open up a lot of opportunities. And this is what I mean about just moving forward as you gain knowledge and as you network more with people.
mhm,
You start like we did, with turnkey, not knowing anything, but letting everybody take care of everything for you, other than the money, and and then just move from there if you want to. You may decide down the road that that's all you want to do. You just want hands off and just have it pay for itself, and that's it. But you may be like me, that you decide, no, you want to learn more, you want to do more, and just keep learning. And so it's great. You have choices.
mhm,
Which is a great thing about it.
mhm.
Yeah. So
So
many
we're just
different
running out
ways.
of time. I do need
No
to ask you about
problem.
stock hacking, because I knew you were wondering what the heck we were talking about in August.
Oh my gosh. I emailed you, or I texted you from Italy. We were in Europe when I texted you saying, Erwin, what the heck is this? Like, what is this?
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, yeah,
Remember
yeah.
that?
Because you weren't
Yeah.
at the meeting.
I wasn't at the meeting.
Yeah.
So I'm, like I said, I'm pretty spontaneous, and I hate to miss opportunities, right? So I'm looking at this and I'm asking you about this opportunity,
Mm-hmm,
and knowing that my husband hates stocks and we have not had a lot of luck with stocks.
mm-hmm,
And so when you told me what it was, I went, okay, I don't understand any of this, but I'm going to sign up for it right away, which I did. I was in the September course and the beta course. And I told Omar, I said, I came to your class, yours and Matthew's class, completely convinced that I came there to convince myself that I wasn't going to do this.
uh-huh, uh-huh.
It's true. He goes, what do you mean you spent the money for the class? I said, yeah, but I came because I didn't want, there was this much of a chance I was going to do it, but I came to know, like, to reiterate the fact that I knew I wasn't going to do it.
Mm-hmm,
And within about 2 hours, I knew I was going to do it.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
And I did. It's to me, real estate's been great. And this has just opened up like a whole new door. This is really
mm-hmm,
exciting. If you do it smartly, obviously there's risk in everything, and you can get greedy like they tell you not to, and you can get hurt. But follow, if you follow, if you're disciplined and follow the methodology, the methods, then you're more than likely you're going to do great. You know, you
Mm-hmm.
might have what's the worst thing than, you know, if I own Apple, or if I own Facebook, or I own Bell Canada or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, I mean, as a stock, I mean, that's my worst case scenario.
Mm-hmm.
That's not bad to me at all. I've owned worse stocks, trust me.
Yeah. And then compared to real estate, I'm happy owning my real estate. And then the day, next best thing, yes, I'm okay to own. I might own Disney stock.
Yeah.
So again, not the end of the world. I swear they're going to make $1
No.
billion with every single movie they
Ex-
put out.
exactly.
I have 2 trips to Disney planned this year.
So my daughter turns 30 next year,
uh,
uh, and um, and so we promised the kids. We said, whenever you turn 30, we're taking a family trip wherever you want to go. Guess where
uh-huh.
she wants to go? Disney,
Orlando?
Orlando.
Yeah.
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 So
Yeah.
we'll be booking that over the next few months, probably beginning of next year. So
As kind of like a joke to myself, I sell puts on Disney to try to afford this trip. I
yeah,
sell puts on Starbucks to try to afford Starbucks for
yeah,
cherry. I
but
don't
it
drink
makes
Starbucks.
sense. Yeah, I
I
don't
don't.
either. It's too strong
I
for
don't know
me.
if it makes
Yeah,
sense.
it's too strong. No, but it's true. If you're using these products, that hundreds of millions of other people are using these products,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
services, right? So it totally makes sense. And I think that's when the light bulb went on.
Hmm.
um, you know, I'm working with my husband, a partner that absolutely hates stocks and doesn't like it. And then when I explained it to him the way that it works, because if you think about it, if you're familiar with the way insurance works,
Hmm.
kind of is akin to insurance. You know, you're writing a contract, you're paying a claim by you know, if you get assigned the stock because you're agreeing
Yeah.
to buy, you know,
Yes.
if you're playing a claim by buying the stock at a
Yeah.
certain price, or you know, your premium is just earned, completely earned, and there's nothing that no claim that comes up. So when I was able to explain to him that way, he's fully on board and trying to figure out how else we're going to raise money to put more money towards this thing. So it's quite the turnaround. It's quite the turnaround. It's really exciting. Really exciting.
What didn't work out well in your previous stock experience?
So just in general, like I've been investing for a long time. Like so I got caught in that Horn Nortel thing years and years and
Mm.
years ago. So like I'm dating myself, but I've already told you my age, so it doesn't matter. I did well in some. Like I know Omar and Matthew probably like fall over backwards when I thing. And these types of stocks weren't the type that were buy and hold. You
Hmm.
had to keep an eye on them, get out at a certain point in time. You know, if I owned Disney or Nike or Apple, or those would have been buy and hold. I actually had Apple for a few years.
Mm.
We cashed out to buy a property, and
Mm.
so I did well with that. I did well with that one. But most of them were ones that weren't going to do well over time. And no kidding. Now that I know why. You know, they don't pay great dividends. They don't have a history of paying dividends. They don't have the fundamentals behind them. They were the flavor of the month, you know, type of stocks, and more than not, those didn't pay off.
Hmm.
So you know, when I see this strategy, I don't care if I haven't been assigned, but I don't care if I get assigned. These are stocks that I would love to own and hold long term at a discount. So
Hmm.
why would I be afraid of that?
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah,
And
but definitely like collecting the premium.
yes, I like collecting the premium too. Just disclaimer, folks. That we're not giving
Oh my gosh,
advice.
no, yes.
Yeah,
This is
this
just
is
what I
not
do.
advice.
Yeah, no,
We are
no, no
not licensed
advice.
professionals to give advice. We're not
No, no,
professionals. We're just sharing
no.
what we're doing.
Thank you, Erin. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for that.
Yeah, and even today, like I'm down quite a bit on paper, but these things happen.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm the same. I was monitoring a little earlier today, but I'm not worried. The stocks that I have, first of all, if I get assigned, I don't care. They're great stocks. And my puts were so out of the money that if I get them at that price, I actually should be really happy about it. But I know by the time the expiry comes around, they're probably just going to rebound and I won't be
Hmm.
assigned anyway.
Hmm.
But if I do, fine. No issue.
Yeah, and if I do, I still have. I deliberately am mostly cash.
Me too. I'm sitting about 50% right now.
Yeah,
So yeah, yeah.
I'm actually more.
Are you? I
It's
was.
because it's just slow to get to the account
Yeah,
because of
yeah,
because it takes days to get it into your account.
yeah, for sure, for sure. I've got a little bit more coming in as well, waiting for that to come in. But when it does,
Mhm.
I'll just sit on it and see what happens.
Yeah, because I'm down like over $700 a day, but
Yeah.
and I was thinking like, is this the beginning of the down? Like, I'd actually, I don't want I like because I keep talking, the correction's
Yeah,
coming.
yeah. I
I'd
believe
rather it
that.
happen now than later. I don't the The suspense is what the worst part.
I know, I know. I'm actually really looking forward to the advanced class because I registered for the advanced class. So I'm looking forward to learning those other strategies as well because this one
Mhm.
works so well, but I'm sure there's other things that you can do to complement.
There's a
Um,
lot more nuances. For
yeah,
example, they will get more aggressive to be. They'll be closer to the money at times, and I don't know
right,
when those times are. So I'm interested in
right.
learning.
Yeah, yeah. So
Mhm.
really looking forward to that. And yeah, but I like you, I don't worry about, days like this where on paper you're down because in reality you're not. You're only down if you're buying back
Yeah, I'm still not even in the
your
money.
position. So no,
I
I'm
might be
not
in the
anywhere
money
close.
on Bank of America,
Are you
but
worried about that one?
it's Bank of
I know
America,
exactly.
right?
Exactly.
Like when they said too big to fail, they were talking about Bank of America.
Absolutely. I know if the government's your backer, I don't think you have too much to worry about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Trump will not allow anything bad to
No, I
happen.
know. Are you kidding? Are you kidding? Oh my
Just my opinion, folks. I'm not kidding. I do not have a crystal ball.
No, no, none of us do. If we did, boy, things would be easy.
Yeah.
Things would be easy.
Yeah.
Anyway, but that's a scoop, Erwin. That's how we've done it. Like I said, as I slow down in my own business, in like work and that kind of stuff, have more time. I kind of like to share. I don't know, either in like a book or a podcast or speaking engagements, addressing, like talking to people like myself who are too afraid to do things or thinking that it's too late, or
Mm-hmm.
it really isn't. It really isn't. It's
Mm-hmm.
I think it's the comfort level and the being afraid of doing something different as we
Mm-hmm.
become more comfortable in and set in our ways.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just I didn't start when I was 40. I didn't start when I was 50. I started a little later. So what,
Mm-hmm.
3.5 years later,
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing really well. I'm happy that I did it. Yeah. So
I think real estate's gotten a lot more balanced. I remember I never paid attention to these things personally.
mhm.
I was told like rooms that we were in were probably about eight or 9 to 1, as in men to women, and then I
Yeah.
noticed more recently it's getting closer to 50-50. Our own clientele is largely 50-50.
Yeah.
And then it was odd to go to Stock Hacker Academy, and then we again and then it went back to the old times where it was about 4 men to 1 woman,
Yeah.
and Cherry and I talked about how we address these problems because
Mhm.
it, it's actually pretty consistent. Most
Yeah.
people who teach stock options will say women are better traders.
Yeah.
And
Maybe we're not. I don't know. I don't know what that is. Maybe it's just inherent traits in women and differences in men and women, like
I think they're more
inherently.
disciplined,
Yeah. And we
right?
have to be anyway, when it comes to what we do normally, like raising kids and that kind of stuff. But Um, yeah, I don't know. It's funny that you say that. It's true. I've noticed that too, not only in our own industry, but also in these networking meetings, different networking meetings that we attend,
Mm-hmm.
and or that I attend. And it's funny because as there's a lot of women that are just getting into things like this, and as soon as they find out that you're doing this or doing that. Last night, your meeting last night was a prime example of sitting beside a couple of women. They're just kind of starting out, and once they find out they've been doing stuff like this, they're so interested in, finding out how you did it, what you did, what you're doing, advice, how do I get started, and that type of thing. So not only they're attending, they're seriously interested in moving forward, right? And so it's really, for me, it's great to see as the mother of a daughter as well. It's encouraging. It's
Mm-hmm.
encouraging because I think my generation especially, and my mother's generation, like women always kind of took a back seat to that kind of stuff. And I see that in a lot of the people I know that are my age. They're still not interested in the stuff that I'm interested in. So I find myself talking to the men more than the women, just because they're more interested in what I have to say than
Mm-hmm.
than a lot of the women that I deal with. So, but again, that's not a knock. It's not for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a knock against anyone. You have to do with what you're comfortable with,
Mm-hmm.
and what you want to do. But at the same time, I'd love to encourage those who do have an inkling to do something different or a little bit more, or get into these kinds of revenue streams,
Mm-hmm.
to do it. Not to be
Mm-hmm.
afraid. Seek out the right information, the right people to network with, and
Mm-hmm.
and and it'll be a big advantage. You'll be able to do it without
Mm-hmm.
an issue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know some people who just don't have interest in money. Like you have
That's
to have
fine.
you have to have some sort of level of ambition.
Of course, yeah, of course. No, that's
Hmm.
fine. it's not for, just like real estate or stock options or anything else that we do. It's for everybody. I
Hmm.
mean, there are things that people do that's not for me.
Hmm.
I understand that.
Hmm.
We're not all the same. Our differences are what makes the world go round. I always
Hmm.
say life would be boring if we were all the same. So,
Hmm. Hmm.
I truly believe that.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine with that. I never try to push anything on anybody, but if somebody asks me a question or is interested, I'm happy to help. Yeah, because I was there too a few years ago.
I would say like stock hacker, real estate. It's not for everyone, but
Mhm.
anyone can do it.
Anyone can do it. It's true. This part is true. I was speaking to a lady who was sitting next to me at your meeting last night, and she was saying, "Are you in this?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, "I've been doing it for a few months now. It's really great." And she goes, "I'm not understanding what it's all a foreign language to me. Like I'm not understanding anything that they're saying." And I said, "Don't worry, you will." I was the same. I went to the class not knowing anything about anything and came out of the class probably more confused than when I went in. But with the support, with the community, with like the community group and the ongoing support, now
Hmm.
it's great. So it's easy to get discouraged with something new, especially like
Hmm.
stock options.
Hmm.
It is a foreign language if you
Hmm.
haven't done it before.
Hmm.
But the great thing is we have a lot of support available to us, and the people who are involved are really intent and genuine about helping, which has brought us all along. And the next group that does it will be the same. They'll be confused at first, and
Hmm.
then they'll learn, and then they'll do great. They'll do
Yeah,
great. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
No different than learning a new skill. Like think
Yeah,
back when you learned to swim.
yeah,
How
exactly. How
bad that
hard was
first day
that?
was,
I
right?
know. Oh my gosh, same kind of panic, I think.
Yeah, well, my kid's been in swim school for 2 years, and my son still sinks.
Yeah.
Right, it's gonna take time.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. When in Yeah, we used to our kids took to water pretty quickly, but like I said, my husband still doesn't swim, so it's that same kind of panic, right? Panic of drowning, panic of losing your money. I guess
Hmm. Hmm.
they're both pretty traumatic, pretty traumatic things. I just think that if you want to do something, if you don't want to do it, don't do it. But if there's something you want to do, I just don't think you should be afraid to do it. There are ways of getting the training and being with the right people. Something you said last year after your first meeting really resonated with me, and that's I think when things started to change, was that you are the sum of the 5 people that you hang with the most. And I hang with some pretty great people, like a lot of people, both on a side that are not interested, like in this type of thing that I do, and because they're great people, I hang with them all the time. But more importantly, I have another hangout group that I hang with that are so much better than I am when it comes to real estate, stock options, and all these other things, private lending, and come up with all these ideas that
Hmm.
maybe one day I'll aspire to. So I kind of hang with both because I'm not willing to, give up one for the other, but I make sure as well that when it comes to my business side, that I'm hanging with these people, and some of these people really have become friends as well. So that's been really great.
Hmm.
They're great people, terrific
Hmm.
people. Just I'm at the bottom of the totem pole, just one little step at a time, and I'm learning so much. So uh, hanging with people that know more than I do is really important to me, and it's working. Like I said, it's something that it's probably the one thing that you said that made me sign up last year after the first meeting. So
Yeah, we were pretty
yeah,
lucky. We've been
yeah.
pretty lucky to put together a pretty good group.
Yeah, you have. So yeah, I have nothing to complain about. I've just, like I said, been really blessed. Our family's been really blessed. We're all benefiting from everything that I've been learning through our networking groups and stuff. So it's been really
Fabulous.
great. Yeah, it's been really great.
Victoria, if anyone wants to follow along your journey, where can they follow you?
Oh my
Snapchat,
gosh. Yeah.
TikTok,
Oh my gosh. I'm so behind on stuff like this, right? Uh,
Instagram,
for now, they can reach me on Facebook.
Facebook.
Yeah, my old school. See, like I'm old school. I do have an Instagram page, but I don't really follow it that much. I will have to get better at it. I do have Twitter, but I don't really on it that much. I'm going to have to change these things. One of my 2020 goals. Now they can private message me on Facebook and ask me anything that they want, and I'm happy to help. People help me, so I'm happy to help as well. Happy to give back the favor.
Amazing. Victoria. Oh, and then And then one last time,
Yeah.
where can people get information on your insurance related to for landlords?
Yeah, so they can email me at my office directly, Victoria at Oracle RMS, stands for Risk Management Services.com.
Oh, you got the .com. Nice.
Yeah, can't forget that part.
Victoria, thank you again for doing this.
Thanks,
It's been a
Erwin.
blast.
Yeah, thank you.
Lovely
I
to get to
told
know
you I
you
talk a
better.
lot.
Oh, you're great. That's kind of the point of this. If we just sat silently, this wouldn't be a very good
Yeah,
podcast.
yeah. Thanks so much, and thanks for everything. Really, like thanks for all the introductions and everything that you've done. You're really doing a great thing here, you and Cherry. So thanks so much to the both of you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay,
All
take
right.
care.
Have a great Friday.
Bye. You
Bye.
too. Bye now.